Hey guys, and welcome to the first ever FM21 team guide with me, Raxo FM, where today we are going to be looking at 3 signings and 3 sales for Arsenal. A very popular save for this year's edition of FM, and that is probably because of the way that they have declined in form, despite the fact that they have a huge reputation, and of course are just a very known club with a great history behind them. They've got a very respectable budget to start things off with £25 million, and crucially, you get 100% of the transfer revenue gained from each of your sales. However, the board do want you to start well on the save with at least a semi-final in the Europa League and a Champions League qualification spot in the first season of the Premier League. So high expectations, but a solid amount of money to do it with. Before we jump into the 3 signings and the 3 sales for Arsenal, make sure that you have subscribed to the Raxo FM channel for daily Football Manager videos with Let's Play series and team guides on Football Manager 2021. Make sure that you do like this video as well so that a bunch of people see it. And without any further ado, let's see who we're going to be selling in this Arsenal side to get ourselves some money to make those signings. The first out of 3 sales for Arsenal is a bit of a no-brainer to me. It's Mohamed Elneny for £25 million and a 3-star current ability player, 28 years of age, not a whole lot of Premier League experience, not that that really matters in this game, but we'll take it as a point. And he's also not got the best stats of all time in a position as well that Arsenal don't really need too much support in. In fact, you could even recall Torreira or Guendouzi if you do end up signing him and just pocket that probably £15 million that you will make from him. I know that you can get more money from him. As you can see here, I did manage to actually get £17 million for Mohamed Elneny, but obviously every simulation is different and I wouldn't be too disheartened if you only get around about £15 million for the man. It would be unlikely to get £25 million for this man. If you do manage to do it, that would be an amazing sale. I just don't think he has the quality or what we need to improve this side, and I think that money can be better spent elsewhere. The second sale is a man that's fallen out of love with the Arsenal fans in real life, and he goes by the name of David Luiz. Unfortunately, with £150,000 per week of wage, you got to get rid of that on your wage bill. £8 million is a fee that you could potentially get from him. Again, probably going to have to dial that one back because of how big his wage is, but he's not adding that much to the squad. We've got a lot of centre-back options in the squad. Once again, we do take a look at that squad depth screen to see that he just isn't the most important player in the squad, despite the fact that he comes up as the second best centre-back. But let's all be honest here, Pablo Mari or Rob Holding are both better options than him, and of course, we are going to reinvest that money that we bring in from the sale to get a new centre-back. He's got some stats that aren't too bad, but for £8 million, it's probably the time to cash in on David Luiz before he turns into an absolutely worthless player in this game, and that £8 million is certainly going to help us in our signings. The final sale is a bit of a curveball, I will admit, and it's one that you probably won't be able to get until January, but for £20 million worth of value and only 2.5-star current ability, you have got to get rid of Callum Chambers. Even his stats are not very impressive. Once again, we say just not a huge amount of Arsenal experience in the Premier League. He's got a wee bit with Fulham and Middlesbrough, but in those 2 seasons, he hasn't done enough to really break into the Arsenal first team in real life or in this game, and I think it's a good time to cash in on him. He's still 25 years of age. Of course, he's still in English, so people are going to try and buy him. With this injury, it will mean that you probably will have to get rid of him at January, but I know that you can complete all the signings that we're going to be trying to make with the budget that we do have from selling David Luiz, Elneny, and the £25 million. But this one is one for the future, but for £20 million, I think selling this man is an absolute no-brainer. So now that we've made our 3 sales, we need to take a look at the squad and see where the improvement needs to be. And early on, you can see that centre-back pairing just screams a need of an elite centre-back. And Rob Holding, he's not bad, but he's not exactly a long-term elite centre-back that we can use for Arsenal. Also, these central midfielders could definitely use some improvement. Partey doesn't need any improvement, but Ceballos, not exactly the strongest player in real life or in this game. Willian's not great out on that right-hand side. Of course, we could bring Saka in, but I'm sure he'd be more suited to the left-hand side. Lacazette up top, he's not getting any younger, 29 years of age, not the best player of all time either in this game, so definitely an option to bring someone in. If we take a look at the team report and go into our squad depth, I think that everything that we have just said is kind of being emphasised here. Not many striker options. I mean, Nketiah and Martinelli, both decent options, but no one that's really going to break into the starting 11 at this current point in time. Central attacking midfielder could use a wee bit of work as well, actually. Martin Odegaard, not a confirmed signing at all, only on loan. Right wing, also not looking amazing, with the only options really being Willian, Saka, and Odegaard. For some reason, they're not bringing Pepe into that first image, but he is definitely an option now on that right-hand side. It'd be nice to have a bit of backup to Aubameyang over here in the central midfield. We do have a lot of players, but 2 of them are out on loan who are our best players, so definitely a position that we could be looking at, and those centre-backs. There's a lot of them, but there's not a huge amount of quality. The only positions I'd say that we don't need to touch at all are the left-back, right-back, and goalkeeper. Left winger probably doesn't need much improvement either. As long as Aubameyang stays fit for the full season, we should be fine. So I think the key areas of improvement that we need to highlight are the striker, potentially the right winger, central midfielder, and definitely the centre-back. Unfortunately, we only have 3 signings, so hopefully we can hit all those spots. And our first signing for Arsenal is a loan move, believe it or not, and it is going to be Julian Brandt. I think this one is a genius move for only £1.5 million worth of loan fees and a potential future fee of only £28 million. It sounds like a hefty fee, but for a man of this kind of quality, he's worth taking a punt at. He can play in the left wing position, the right wing position, the central midfield position, all positions that Arsenal could really use players. For example, in that right wing position, the best player at the minute is Willian, and we all know how he's doing in real life. In central midfield, it's definitely not going to kill you to have another advanced playmaker, because even with Thomas Partey in there, having Xhaka and Ceballos as your 2 centre-back options, it's not going to be ideal for a whole season, is it? And the fact that you're bringing him in on a loan to save that money that you don't have this season, to reinvest next season and potentially even make a profit from him if you do bring him in. As you can see, his value's already gone up to £33 million after the signing. It's starting to look like £28 million at the end of the loan. If he does have a good one, it's certainly not too high of a fee to play. And I think at 24 years of age, he's got plenty to give. He's got plenty of football left in him. And he's certainly going to be a good one for any club that can get his hands on him. And if you can get your hands on him at Arsenal, he's going to be a great signing. The second signing for Arsenal is a much more stereotypical football manager signing, and it is Edouard, the man from France, the man from Celtic. He comes in for only £20 million and has already skyrocketed for £32 million worth of value. I will admit a lot of that is going to be in on installments. I believe there's going to be £6 million that we're going to have to pay included in this deal, which is something that you do need to take advantage of at the start of the game, because obviously due to the circumstances in the real world, Football Manager has incorporated it into the game so that every team has a lower budget. Take advantage of installments, pay those in the long term so that you can get players like Edouard in on a free, well, not on a free, on a cheap. It would be amazing if I managed to get him on a free. He would definitely be at the top of this list if we got him on a free. But even with having to spend money on the man, 17 finishing, 16 composure, a decent amount of pace, 6'2", he's great as an advanced forward, a complete forward. He's going to be a magical top goal scorer for Arsenal for many years to come, and I don't see any reason why you'd need to replace the striker for quite some time. Another player that I do think is definitely worth a wee mention, because he was so good in my Arsenal FM21 beta save, is Memphis Depay. So if you want to get a wee bit more of an expensive player who is definitely going to be amazing for you, Memphis Depay is an amazing option. However, he is older, worth a wee bit more, and arguably not as good as Edouard, so I believe that he is the right choice to go with for this video. One that you probably all have thought of, but sometimes the obvious choice is obvious for a reason, and at 22 years of age, he's got plenty of football left in him, as I've already said. He's a brilliant signing. £20 million, you can't go wrong. And our last signing, again, I will admit, a very traditional FM signing, Luiz Felipe. You can't go wrong with him. A centre-back from Brazil, a centre-back from Lazio that you can bring in for in between £20 and £27 million. Unfortunately, this one, again, is going to have to be done in the January transfer window, which is exactly why I haven't brought him just yet, as he will not pass a fitness test with this twisted ankle at this point in time. But he's got amazing stats, including 18 tackling, 16 heading, 15 marking. He's a real box-to-box midfielder. He's not a box-to-box midfielder, he's a centre-back. What am I going on about? But he can definitely play as a ball-playing defender, a central defender, a no-nonsense one. Whatever your heart desires, he can play it. He's got 20 bravery, great mental stats, great physical, and 23 years of age. Come on, mate. You can't go wrong with a centre-back like this, and for a price like that, he's going to be a centre-back that is going to partner Gabriel for years and years to come. A bit of a Brazilian dynamic duo. I think that he is going to be an absolute star and a bit of a steal at only £20 million if you can get it that low. Make sure that you do use those installments though, because of course you don't have the biggest transfer budget, and even after all these transfers that I have made and the sales that I did make as well in this wee mini thing that I have run, we can see that I have brought in £17 million straight off the bat with Mohamed El-Neni. It can be done. I've also tried to sell David Luiz. I will admit that one's a wee bit more of a challenge, but I've still got some money left in the bank account, £15 million, and you can go off and sign whoever you want with that, maybe even a wonder kid, because obviously that's probably the one thing lacking from this lineup. A bit more of an experienced lineup, but I think they're still youngsters. They're going to improve the squad for many, many years to come. So those are my 3 signings and my 3 sales for Arsenal in this year's Football Manager 2021 game. Let me know down in the comment section below. Did I get them right? Did I get them wrong? Callum Chambers, David Luiz, and El-Neni need to go. And you got to brought in Luiz, Felipe, Edouard, and of course, Julian Brandt on a loan. Make sure you let me know down in the comment section below which team you want me to be doing a 3 signings and 3 sales for next. Make sure you have subscribed to the Raxo FM channel for those daily Football Manager videos, and I will see you all later.